Good morning, everybody. Today is a video, I don't know, I always say it's something a little bit different, but today it's going to be a little bit less talking, more of a montage of what I do as I'm designing and manufacturing some of my own tools. So I have the new tool coming out, the stainless steel and titanium solder stand. I'm going to film some processes I go through in order to get that done. The first step of the process is going to be making jigs so that I can accurately reproduce parts I need for the solder stand. So today I'm going to be doing some drilling, I'm going to be doing some welding, and manufacturing of jigs. Not necessarily tools themselves, but the tools that I need in order to make the tools. So go ahead and stop the talking. If you haven't already, hit that little subscribe button down there. Love to see your comments, the likes, all that fun stuff. And so here we go. These kind of guys are going to be the pins that I use for the bending jig. I'll drill holes for them and then I will weld them in place a little bit later on this afternoon. Alright, here we are over at the where I do a lot of my welding at. I have the plates that we talked about earlier with the holes drilled in them, and then I've cut pegs for those holes. Dougie's running around playing too, so here are the plates. Let me turn you guys around real quick, or not. I have the plates that we had talked about, and then on the back side of the plates I've countersunk that. And I've countersunk that because I want as much weld surface as possible for when I go ahead and weld these guys up. So I have one plate here, another one here, and I am basically going to do the same thing all around. Once I weld all of these pegs in from the back, I'm going to do some other arrangements here and figure out exactly where I want my bending angles to be. So exactly where I want to start, where I want to finish, and that way I have proper leverage for bending. So the reason I'm filming on my phone is because I forgot my camera battery. So hopefully all this turns out awesome. So yeah, we're gonna do this. I hope I didn't do too badly with the footage from me forgetting my camera, and well, I brought my camera, I just forgot the battery. So what I have is the finished project. I didn't show a whole lot of what I did. I'll talk a little bit about here. I don't want to give away all my production secrets, right? Yeah. So what I have is this. This plate was one that I laid out. I've got my center lines and all that stuff on there. I've got 2 3/8 pegs here, 2 3/8 pegs here. These are tool steel. And then I've got a 1/4 inch peg there. What that allows me to do is create that curve when I'm bending and have everything be uniform, so that when I take this out, when it's done with the bend, I have a uniform piece every single time, so that I can make multiple products exactly the same way. So this one hasn't been placed in the new jig yet. This one was manually bent before. I'll try and do this one-handed. There you go. So what this allows me to do is just recreate that bend, that shape every single time, and then I can make some layout lines up here to know where I'm aligning my metal. Or I can use a center line here to align the center of my stock down there for my bending. Now, one of the things you have to remember when you're creating a jig for bending is that your actual shape isn't the actual shape of the jig that you want to make, because every material has a spring back kind of ratio, how much that metal springs back from a bend. So here, see how it springs back? When it springs back, that's actually exactly where I want my metal to be, because I calculated the spring back that this material, stainless steel, would have when it was bent. So I bring that up. Now that's the actual shape that I want. It's slightly larger because I want to be able to squeeze it into my frame. There's my frame. I want to be able to squeeze those in to the frame so that I have a pressure fit or a spring fit, so they don't go flying out. Now for this guy, I did the same thing, only created a jig with 4 pegs. These are 1/4 inch pegs. They are, there's, you can see the layout for the square, but these aren't right at the edges of the measurements for my square. These are actually set in to the internal dimension of the square itself, because if I were to make these exactly where they needed to be, exactly center, the material that I'm using wouldn't be the size that I was looking for. It would be probably you're looking at a 1/4 inch larger, because these are placed on centers versus inset, so that I would have the dimensions I want. This guy here allows for an alignment, so that every single time I make my bend, I can start my metal here, I can bend it around the jig, and I can stop it and cut it here. That makes everything kind of uniform and the way to go. Now, these needed some way to be held while I was doing my bending, so I ended up welding on a bracket to the back that allowed for it to go in a vise. So these welds on the back here and here, I know they're not pretty, but you know what, they do their job. Those welds are the pegs from the opposite side. So you saw that I beveled those. I ended up bringing the peg through, and then I had plenty of surface area to weld to. So those are nice and strong, they're not going anywhere. When I got done, I heated up both plates, and I just painted on some Johnson's paste wax. And what that allows you to do is protects it from any more rust, and then adds a nice kind of waxy finish to everything. So that's what was done today. I hope you guys enjoyed a little something different. I may not have done a whole lot of teaching, but it gives you a little bit of a look into what goes into making a tool. I actually sometimes have to make tools in order to make the tools. So that's what went into today. Looks like production's going to be starting soon. So that's good news. Tomorrow though, I may be doing some plasma cutting and maybe some blacksmithing. So we'll, if I can get that on video, I'll get that on video. If not, I may need to work quick. And as all of you who do videos know, when you have to do a job and film it, it takes about 5 times longer to do the job. So sometimes I don't film. Should, because, you know, that's what I'm here for. That's my job. That's what I do. But sometimes I don't. So hope you guys had a great day. Thanks for watching Lion Punch Forge. If you haven't already, you like this kind of stuff, subscribe down on the bottom. This has been kind of an impromptu floating camera day. So I hope you guys like this type of thing, and we'll see you soon.